This
and
conference will now be recorded.
just to type it into the message box, and also then if you want to ask a question, you're more than welcome to switch on your camera as well, and then just to raise your hand.
Thank you, Ilze Marie. And good afternoon, everyone. It's really nice that you can spend your time with me again this afternoon. And welcome back to part 2 of health and safety in our businesses, where we're going to discuss how we're going to get ready for introducing services, because we know our clients are going to stand queue for these. If you didn't join my previous session last week, my name is Ilze and I look after the concept stores education. Now, last Thursday, we talked about how to get your businesses ready after lockdown, and perhaps if you've opened for retail, what you would need to implement. We discussed PPE, and we also discussed signages, and of course, all the record keeping that you needed to do in order to open. This session was recorded and it is available on our SA Professionals Connect page. So you are welcome to review that again if you haven't seen it just yet. So although we were all anticipating really good news from our President Cyril Ramaphosa, unfortunately the news were quite unfavorable. So we are not ready to all. They don't want to open us just yet in level 3. However, as leaders in our industry, we want to make sure that you are ready and that you have enough time to prepare to get your spaces ready for services. We also know that our clients are asking for services. And these clients that's waiting for us to open, we are anticipating that you are going to be really busy. So we want to make sure that you are ready the minute that we get the go-ahead to do services and get back in touch with our community. So during today's session, we are going to look at the following. So we're going to look at what are the specific skin treatment protocols that we need to implement. We're also going to look at nail services, because we do realize that many of you as skin centers also offer this service. We're going to do a brief check on what does that customer service journey look like now during COVID-19. And then, of course, the long-awaited PSD and skin center toolkits we will reveal to you. The first step in performing any type of service, I want to make sure my screen's changed. So the first step in performing any type of service is to do client pre-screening. So what's important about this is to avoid the client coming actually into your skin center and possibly carrying the virus, and on her journey towards your skin center, possibly infecting other people and as well contaminating spaces on her journey to your space. It also maximizes the productivity of your staff, because you won't be booking in a client in a time slot that can actually not have the treatment. So as you can see on the screen, this document, it has a series of questions to ensure that the clients are free of any sickness or symptoms, and that it confirms that they haven't been exposed to anybody with COVID-19 in the last 14 days. Now, this should be sent to the client via email, or you can even send it via WhatsApp to your client straight after he or she has actually made the appointment booking. The client would need to complete this and would need to return this back to you. And I would suggest that you make sure that you have this pre-screening from your client about 24 hours before the booking time. These health declarations should be saved on your computer. You could make a folder on your computer that talks to pre-screening. Make a folder, for example, for June, and in that folder you will have a day for each day of the month, a folder for that. And then inside that day will be all the pre-screenings for the clients that visited your skin center on that day. Now, in the situation where you get a client that's a walking client and you couldn't send this to her digitally, you would conduct this pre-screening before you actually go ahead with consultation and making the appointment. And you would save it in the exact same manner on your folder in your computer. We have made this document available for you on the website where you have all the other documents that you can download. Now, during the telephone booking discussions, it is also advisable that you check in with the client's health and pre-existing medical conditions. So any clients that are high risk, we should tell the client rather not to have a treatment because we don't want to risk them to getting infected. So these would be clients of advanced age, clients that have pre-existing medical conditions. So any of our clients of 65 years and older, clients with chronic lung disease or moderate to severe asthma, those with serious heart diseases and conditions, those that are immunocompromised, our clients that struggles with obesity, diabetes, chronic kidney disease that receives dialysis, and of course people with liver diseases. Now, I would suggest that you print these guidelines out and you have it at your reception so that your therapist can actually look at these and as a reminder to check in with the clients to see if they haven't got any of these medical conditions. It is also advisable to rather use a digital platform to do your client consultations. We want to minimize all the items the client might touch in your skin center, like pen and paper. We have a great tool at Dermalogica called the Face Mapping Pro. This is a digital platform where you can do all your client consultations on, and it is saved on there. And we would definitely advise you to do this. You are probably familiar with this already because we have showcases in the launches, and education will conduct workshops to get your skin therapist ready on this fantastic platform. You would also need to allow for enough time to clean, disinfect, and sanitize your treatment spaces after each appointment. So this means when an appointment is made, you should immediately go ahead and book time out to disinfect. Now, what we have done on ESP within our concept stores in preparation is we've created a disinfect option that the therapist can choose from the drop-down bar. So once you have made your skin appointment, a Pro Skin 60, the therapist then should ideally straight afterwards book out the disinfectant time. We have put this at 45 minutes, but you are welcome to change the time to longer if you feel that your space would need longer time to disinfect that space. You'll probably see on the screen and wondering why there is a pre-service disinfect. And you would probably wonder why after you've just disinfected a treatment room and you've got a client coming in again, why you would need to do this. So our regulations state that although a room has been disinfected and ready for the next treatment, that prior to the next appointment, the therapist would need to do a quick wipe down with disinfectant spray on the highly touched surfaces, but also the equipment that you're going to use during the treatment, such as the steamer perhaps, your mag lamp, maybe you have a microdermabrasion machine, and then of course the other equipment, maybe a BT that you would use. We will look at the treatment room requirements a little bit later. Now, I realize that we have talked about hand washing at length, and I know that you know exactly what you need to do. I just want to highlight a few things. So we need to ensure before we do a treatment or touch any client's skin that we actually visibly wash our hands in front of the client. And also, of course, you know that you have to visibly wash your hands if you've touched anything that was unsterilized or any unsterilized surroundings. With the latest information that we have received, we have received that we would need to cleanse the client's skin before each treatment. Now, we know that with a skin treatment, we always clean the skin before we touch it. But now when we do face mapping, we would also need to clean that skin before you conduct face mapping. So let's say, for example, your client walks into your skin center And during the questioning that your therapist is asking her, she wants to buy a few products. The therapist then advises her to have a face mapping in your retail space or skin bar. And before she commences the face mapping, she would need to cleanse that client's skin. I'm going to show you a short video of what that looks like. If a client would like to receive face mapping skin analysis during their retailing experience, apply your face mask and face shield, followed by washing your hands before cleansing the client's skin and beginning skin analysis. Please remember that this service should begin with a facial cleanse. So as you can see, she even just does the pre-cleanse hack by putting the pre-cleanse on damp cotton pads and giving the skin a wipe, and that would be sufficient before you start with your face mapping. Now, we also talked about gloves last week Thursday, and we also mentioned that at Dermalogica, we don't recommend the use of gloves. We do feel that hand washing and sanitization is more effective. We also mentioned that should the South African government change this, we would absolutely include gloves in our treatment. But should a client require you to wear gloves during a skin treatment, you absolutely will do so. We would most definitely advise you then to have them come out of a sterilized environment and not have them prepared on a surface. Keep in mind that whenever you use gloves in a treatment, that you would need to apply these once your hands has been sterilized, and of course discard of them straight after the treatment in a bin that has got a closed lid. As for our Dermalogica skincare protocols, we will continue to wear gloves in those treatments that we have advised you to. For example, when you do a pro power peel, or when you were to do extractions. Even when you use some of our resurfacing agents like multivitamin power exfoliant, you will continue to use the gloves in those spaces. Now, let's look at professional products. You will remember that we spoke about testers and how we have to disinfect these and keep these in either a closed container or a closed drawer to remain sanitization. Now, the same counts for professional products. So after you have cleaned your products and you have your skin center ready, you would need to consider that you would need to pack your professional products in a closed cupboard, a closed container, or a closed drawer. If you have a trolley that is closed, that would be perfect. If you have open trolleys in your skin center, you would need to look at where you would store these products so that they can remain sanitized. Now, to keep our treatments professional and of course very hygienic, we suggest that you also have pre-packed consumable disposable packs. This would contain all the items you would need in your skin treatment. For example, your facial sponges, your cotton pads, earbuds, mop caps. You could have your lancet in there if that's what you use, a disposable spatula, etc. So whatever you would need to use in your treatment, have these pre-packed in a closed bag. When you are performing the treatment and just before you start your treatment after you've washed your hands, open this pack in front of the client so that they can see that this is a sealed, hygienic skin disposables that you're going to use on their skin. Also, advise your therapist not to pack these out on the surface because that could be contaminated. Of course, we use other tools in our skin treatment, such as brushes and jelly cups. Now, these would need to be washed after each treatment, and they would then need to be placed, of course, disinfected. And once they are disinfected, they would need to be placed in a container, such as a UV cabinet that keeps your items sterilized. Now, treatment beds must be covered with clean linen. Now, we all know that this is not new. We always use clean linen. But I think what I just want to stress is that it's really important that the linen is changed after every single treatment. Now, I know in a time where we need to look at our cost, it is important to factor in that you would need to launder your linen very often. And if you are very busy, this might be costly, or you would need to invest in more linen. So perhaps an inventory about linen and looking at maximum capacity towards comparing what you would pay for laundry, you should consider maybe also using disposable toweling. You could use paper sheets, and I know you also get disposable towels that you could use. Anything that you use on the bed, including the headband or the boob tube or gown that the client might wear, and the blankets would need to be changed after every single treatment. So not even a blanket that's covered could be reused in a treatment. From the checklist that we have on our website that you could download, I would suggest that you go ahead and use one of these checklists as a guideline and create a checklist for your treatment space of all the different items that you have in your treatment room that would need to be disinfected and sanitized, and perhaps as reminders like clean laundry, have a disposable consumable pack ready, etc. Put this behind your treatment room door in a plastic sleeve and have it there that the therapist can always sign that she has completed this. This is also nice for the clients to see because they see that you are keeping a really clean space and maintaining it. Now, these are really cool. After you have disinfected your room and set it up and ready for your next client, we have these big tent signages that you can place on the bed to showcase to your client that your space is a clean touch zone. What a great message when a client walks into your treatment room. Also, I think this is a great reminder for the therapist to know that this room has been disinfected and clean, and that they shouldn't touch anything in that room to ensure that you don't have any cross-contamination. Well-marked containers are extremely important and perhaps something we haven't implemented just yet in normal treatment. Now, it's important to keep sanitized and clean tools in a container that has a lid that's clearly marked clean. Also, if you are doing a treatment and using equipment, you need to put all these equipment or items in your container that is clearly marked dirty. I would suggest that you have 2 of these containers in each treatment space so that the therapist can easily place these items in these containers without infecting another surface in your treatment room. So of course, once you've used these items, you would then go ahead and clean them and place them back into the clean container. Now, although we, as Dermalogica, is a skincare brand, we realize that US skin centers offer different services that might not be related to skin, such as nails. And therefore, we thought it really good to include some guidelines what you need to know to get your nail techs ready for the services of doing nails. Now, nail techs are supposed to wear the exact same PPE as the therapist. Social distancing between your nail stations is very important. So if your nail stations and your space does not allow for 2 meters between each nail station, you would need to put a perspex screen divider on the side of your nail station as well. You can see the nail stations all need something in the front, and that is the regulation. Of course, like with all the other areas, these surfaces would need to be disinfected before and after each use of every client. And these perspex screens would also need to be washed and also need to be disinfected with each surface, because I think we could almost forget about these screens. Now, what I like about this is we suggest that you use sanitized utensil packs, almost like you would use for the disposable consumable packs in the skin treatment. The difference with these packs is that they would include your equipment as well, such as your nail clippers, nail scissors, a cuticle nipper, together with your abrasives or your nail files and any cotton wool or items, cuticle sticks that you would need within one nail treatment. You would need to have these pre-packed. You are no longer allowed to just spray disinfectant spray over your abrasives or cuticle nippers. You would need to ensure that these are properly cleaned, perhaps using your glass bead sterilizer, and then place these in pre-packed packs. Now, you would have noticed in the appointment staggering that because we need to do a lot of cleaning, we are not able to book as many treatments as you normally would. And I think you really need to look at your maximum capacity and the revenue that you will get in from your services, because most likely your service revenue would probably halven because we need to do a lot of disinfecting. So I want to suggest that you find different ways of making up that money, perhaps in retail or virtual consultations, but also to be very fully prepared. So packing these nail packs in advance for maximum capacity so that you could really run a smooth business and appointments, and making sure you don't lose out on a one appointment a day because you have to pre-pack nail equipment. So before we look at what the customer journey looks like, I want us to be reminded what we spoke about last week of when the therapist comes in to work, beginning her work shift, what she needs to do. I think seeing this visually, and I'm very excited about this video from Global, will really help for you to see how this works and what is the right regulations for this. When you are ready to come back to work, you must take certain precautions to protect you and your client. You will likely be pre-screened for symptoms of COVID-19 before you begin your work shift. Depending on your employer's protocol, you may do this over the phone or online. When you arrive to work, sanitize your hands and be ready to undergo a temperature check. It is highly recommended to change to your freshly laundered uniform at your workplace to avoid possible contamination from your commute to work. After you have changed to your uniform, store your personal belongings in a sealed locker or plastic bag. This would include clothing, handbags, shoes, and the mask you came in with. Now you can put on a clean apron and a clean, dry face mask to begin your work shift. Make sure that they are pulled from a cabinet or closed container where clean items are stored. I apologize. I see there's a little bit of a lag on there, but I hope you got the message, and I'm sure that we can also download this for you on our owner's business support, because this would be great to showcase to your therapist as well. So I want to go over what we spoke about and just summarize literally what this journey is going to look like. And again, we can make this available for you to put into your canteen or staff spaces as a reminder for them on what the new protocol would be. So, of course, the PPE for the therapist is ultimately and very important. We're then going to pre-screen and do a health check with our clients, and of course, then disinfect our treatment space, that 15 minutes that's pre-booked out. There's going to be a temperature check upon arrival with sanitization when the client comes in, and then you are going to wash your hands visibly in front of the client. The consultation is then conducted in your retail or reception space or at the skin bar using the digital platform, and your treatment will then commence in a very sanitized room with that 10 card on the bed. The client needs to place their clothing and all their items and handbag in a sealed plastic drawstring bag, and they then need to sanitize their hands before they get onto the bed. The therapist will then obviously wash her hands before starting with the treatment, open the disposable consumable pack in front of the client, and then commence with the treatment that they've decided on to do. When the treatment has been completed, the client gets changed and she needs to place the items that she wore, the gown, the boob tube, back onto the bed and not on the floor, and to meet her therapist outside. You will then, as a therapist, close off your treatment, obviously following our happy protocol, and then disinfect the treatment space to be ready for the next service. I hope that gives you a clear indication of what the treatment looks like. And perhaps for many of you, this is kind of what you do normally. There's just a few extra things that you would need to add, but I don't think it will be really hard. Now, I'm very excited to launch to you what marketing team has really worked on as a toolkit for you, your skin therapist, and also for you as a business. Now, we have two different toolkits that will be available. The first one is a PST or a therapist toolkit. So you would purchase one of these toolkits per therapist that you have in your skin center. And this contains all the PPE that they would need. So 2 branded face masks that are reusable and that they need to wash, 1 face shield that they would use and disinfect after the day, and then their own hand sanitizer that they can always keep in their pocket and always use when they even travel and just refill again. We then also have a skin center toolkit, and like we mentioned last time, these are the things we're going to communicate to our consumer they need to look out for to know that it's a clean touch zone. So this will include 4 floor decals. You would have seen these in our previous presentation, or if you go around our concept stores, you would see them on the floor. A window decal, 2 treatment room tent cards that you can place on the sanitized beds, and 2 display sheets. Together with this, there will be included a box of 100 disposable aprons. Now, considering laundry costs, I think disposable aprons are a good idea as long as they are discarded very well. And as we anticipate you being really busy, this will keep you stocked up for some time. Now, the prices have not been confirmed, and I know they're in the process of confirming them, but what we know is that the therapist toolkit will be under 200 Rand for each therapist, which I think is a really good price. And then we'll confirm with you at a later stage the final prices as well as the skin center toolkit. Now, if you forgot or you weren't here last time, just as a reminder, where you are able to find all the documents that we refer to all the time, remember you're going to click on for business owners support resources. You can see that on the right there. And then you're going to go to the screen that says business owner support. You will click on them and you're going to choose the folder that says PPE support. And under the PPE support, you will find all the documents that we have loaded for you, such as the actual SOP that you can use to train your staff, the PPE gear, like we mentioned last time, with all the different options that you could choose, because we've done a lot of research on where's the best quality for the best cost. So these are the suppliers that you could use to just make it easier for you. Then also the pre-screening sheet is on here, and of course all those checklists that we have referred to. And as we update anything, you can always find it in this space. Now that brings us to the end of the session. I hope you found it really valuable. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to contact any of your BCs or any of your education teams so that we can assist you in getting ready for these services. I also know that one of our BCs, Francie, is quite clued up on all the PPE and also the protocols for nail services. So if Francie could just put her number or contact details in the chat box, you are welcome to contact her directly if you have questions regarding nail services and the protocols thereof. So do we have any questions? I've just noticed now here on the chat that you are not able to hear any of the sound in the videos. I'm terribly sorry about that. The sound was nice and clear on my side. So we will send you the link and you can actually just watch this afterwards. I do apologize for that. So Jean has asked, have we got pics of the face shields? Sadie will share all of this to you guys so that you can see what they look like. And thank you, Francie, for giving yourself to be able to contact regarding nail services. I see that she has placed that all in the chat box, her email address as well as her number. Is there any other questions from anybody? So I think if we don't have any other questions, we could end off the session. I really appreciate your time. I really hope that there was a clear understanding for you regarding what you need to do to get ready. And good luck, because I know you guys are going to be so busy at the minute that we get the go ahead to do services. And I know myself, I can't wait to get my hands back in treatment and to just give back to our community again after this really stressful time. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Ilze, I just have a question there from Deborah again, just to remind us again what is in the therapist kit.
Sure, I'm going to go back to that. So in the therapist kit, you will see that there is 2 branded face masks, 1 face shield, and a hand sanitizer.
Perfect. But thank you so much again, Ilze. It was very great to have you here again with us today. And I'm actually very excited for the toolkits we are launching. I think that's going to help businesses so much. And I know the therapists will love the branded face mask, which you all will love, I'm sure. So yeah, I know we'll definitely have the discussion on when the kits will be available. And obviously all BCs will be in contact with all owners. So that will be communicated. And yeah, but looking forward to introducing that. And thanks for everyone who joined in again today. We're looking forward to our next sessions again next week.
Awesome. Have a lovely afternoon and stay warm. Sure, it's very cold.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.